Until 2009, the Nutty Putty cave was once a hub of adventure near Salt Lake City, Utah. In 2009, John Edward Jones, a 26-year-old father and medical student, became ensnared in its unforgiving depths. Unable to free himself, he remained trapped upside down, his cries echoing through the narrow confines. Despite all attempts to rescue him, John's body was sealed within the suffocating darkness. And today the Nutty Putty cave is a grave, its entrance sealed with concrete, forever preserving his body. On November 24, 2009, amidst the holiday season, the Jones family embarked on a seemingly innocent adventure trip. Looking into John's background, one thing was sure: he was a man of many talents and had a deep-rooted connection to his family and faith. Born into a large family of 5 boys and 2 girls, John was surrounded by siblings and extended family, including 16 nieces and nephews. His upbringing instilled in him a strong sense of devotion to his Christian beliefs, which were central to his identity. His family fondly remembered him for his kind nature, infectious sense of humor, and unwavering work ethic. John's commitment to his family was evident in every aspect of his life. He was a dedicated husband to his wife and a loving father to their young child, with another on its way. Despite the demands of his studies, as he pursued his dream of becoming a pediatric cardiologist, John prioritized his family above all else. Balancing the demands of medical studies at the University of Virginia. But despite his lack of recent caving experience, John wasn't a stranger to the underground world. He had explored caves with his father and younger brother Josh during his childhood in Utah, and he was quite confident and proud for this trip. But before we go along John's story, let's take a look inside the caves to uncover what John and his family were up to. Discovered in 1960 near Salt Lake City, Utah, Nutty Putty Cave quickly became a favored destination for adventurers, attracting Boy Scout troops and college students alike. Its appeal lies not only in its accessibility, but also in its unique geological features. You see, unlike most caves, which are formed by the gradual dissolution of limestone by acidic groundwater, this cave's origins are traced back to hydrothermal activity. This distinctive formation process gifted the cave with a complex network of passages and chambers, making exploration both exhilarating and unpredictable. Now, as we said, the cave's layout was characterized by a series of tight squeezes, which later lead into larger, more expansive areas. And these variations in terrain added an element of excitement to each journey, with adventurers never quite knowing what comes around the next bend. Now, one of the most distinctive features of Nutty Putty was the peculiar clay that clung to its walls, resembling the famed toy substance silly putty. This viscous material had a strange elasticity that fascinated and scared its visitors equally. It was said that the clay responded to sound, oozing and shifting when subjected to loud noises, which was something that only added to the cave's mystique. However, it was the narrow passages that had the greatest challenge to those who dared to explore Nutty Putty. Names like the Helmet Eater and the Birth Canal underscored the claustrophobic nature of these tight spaces, where even the most professional cavers could find themselves contorted and immobilized. But despite all of these inherent risks, Nutty Putty continued to draw crowds of eager adventurers year after year. For many, the thrill of conquering its labyrinthine depths outweighed the potential dangers that lay in wait. However, tragedy was lurking just beneath the surface, and if you take a look into records between 1999 and 2004, 6 individuals found themselves trapped in these passages. Each incident was a clear reminder of the cave's dark nature, yet it failed to deter the stream of enthusiasts who ran to its entrance in search of adventure. And finally, it wasn't until 2005, following the tragic deaths of 4 young Utahns in a nearby cave, that concerns about safety reached a critical juncture. In response to mounting pressure, Nutty Putty Cave was closed to the public in 2006, citing safety concerns and the need for stricter regulations. But in May 2009, Nutty Putty Cave reopened its doors to the public under the watchful eye of the Timpanogos Grotto. Efforts were made to mitigate the risks associated with cave exploration while preserving the natural beauty of this geological wonder. And that's when John Edward Jones visited Nutty Putty Cave with his brother Josh and 11 others on November 24, 2009, only months after the cave was reopened. Despite never having ventured into this particular cave before, John's extensive caving experience honed during his youth, exploring various caves across Utah, lent him an air of confidence. However, his once frequent explorations had dwindled in recent years, with the responsibilities of marriage, fatherhood, and medical studies at the University of Virginia occupying much of his time. Nevertheless, the Thanksgiving break offered a rare opportunity for relaxation and recreation with family, and Nutty Putty Cave promised an adventure suitable for beginners and experienced cavers alike. So John and his family reached the Nutty Putty Cave by driving to the area near Thanksgiving Point in Utah, where the cave is located. From there, they hiked to the entrance of the cave. As the group ventured into the cave's main sections, they marveled at its intriguing features, from the maze room with its labyrinthine passages to the exhilarating slide that sloped downward at a 45-degree angle. Yet among the excitement, there were whispers of more challenging areas, such as the notorious birth canal and aorta crawl, where only the most experienced cavers dared to tread. Undeterred, John and Josh set out to conquer the infamous birth canal, armed with determination and a rudimentary map to guide their way. With its reputation for tight squeezes and panic-inducing passages, the birth canal posed a formidable challenge even for seasoned cavers. As they navigated through the twisting tunnels, John found himself wedged in a particularly narrow section, an area known as the corkscrew, where a previous caver had become trapped years earlier. But despite his large physique, John pressed forward, determined to overcome the obstacle that lay ahead. As he contorted his body through the cramped space, John remained focused on the promise of an opening beyond the narrow confines of the tunnel. But what he didn't know was that he was venturing into uncharted territory.
We'll figure this out, man. You promise? Promise.
With his body now upside down and gravity pulling against him, John called out to his brother Josh, urging him not to follow, but to seek help. Together they weighed their options and determined that moving forward to attempt a turnaround was the best course of action. Despite the daunting circumstances, John clung to a glimmer of hope, visualizing a moment when he would rejoin his family, with stories of this misadventure over Thanksgiving dinner. As John pressed forward, inching toward a hole in the floor that offered a glimpse of a larger space below, the events leading to his predicament remained shrouded in mystery. It was unclear whether he had slipped, hit his head, and become wedged in the tight space, or if he had mistakenly interpreted the hole as an opening and ventured into a dead-end fissure. Regardless of the cause, John found himself trapped in a narrow opening, just 18 inches by 10 inches in size, with little room to maneuver. As John pressed forward, inching toward a hole in the floor that offered a glimpse of a larger space below, the events leading to his predicament remained shrouded in mystery. Wedged almost completely upside down at a 70-degree angle, he struggled to free himself, his efforts hampered by the confined space and the weight of his own body. With his arms rendered useless and his legs wedged tightly against the sides of the hole, John's calls for help grew more desperate. Josh, realizing the severity of the situation, ventured back into the tight space to assist his brother. Upon reaching John's location, Josh was met with a harrowing sight, his brother's leg protruding from the rock as if swallowed whole by the earth. Despite their combined efforts, they soon realized that they were powerless to free John on their own and that professional help would be required. As Josh set off to seek assistance, another member of the group stayed behind to offer comfort and reassurance to John, who remained trapped upside down, his thoughts consumed by the struggle to breathe. With each passing hour, gravity tightened its grip on his exhausted body, pulling him deeper into the crack and further from freedom. When help finally arrived in the form of cave rescuer Susie Matar, John had been upside down for 3 agonizing hours, his strength waning with each passing minute. Despite their best efforts, attempts to extract John using conventional methods proved futile, prompting the rescue team to devise a new strategy. With a pulley system in place, reminiscent of the one used to free a trapped caver 5 years prior, they worked tirelessly to lift John from his precarious position and bring him back to safety. But despite their meticulous planning, the rescue operation in the cramped confines of the cave presented numerous challenges. Each piece of equipment had to be transported from their entrance, which took nearly an hour to navigate through the tight passages. Only smaller power tools could be carried in and out, and due to the narrowness of the tunnel, only one person could assist at a time. The rescuers faced an uphill battle, working tirelessly to install the pulleys needed to extract John from his precarious position. As the rescue efforts unfolded, John's companions did their best to keep him calm and distracted, sharing stories and offering words of encouragement. John was a devout Mormon who sought solace in prayer and song, clinging to the hope of a swift resolution to his ordeal. However, as the hours passed, the physical toll of being suspended upside down took its toll on John's body. His circulatory system struggled to cope with the prolonged inversion, leading to a buildup of fluids in his lungs and a decrease in oxygen levels. Despite the best efforts of the rescue team, John's condition continued to deteriorate. With each passing hour, his breathing became more laboured and his movements more frantic. The rescuers, exhausted and frustrated, struggled to maintain their composure as they witnessed John's desperate struggle for survival. Meanwhile, John's wife, Emily, remained steadfast in her faith, offering words of encouragement and reassurance to her trapped husband. As the hours turned into days, John's condition grew increasingly dire. The rescuers worked tirelessly to extract him from the fissure, but their efforts were hampered by the cramped conditions and the stubbornness of the rock. Finally, after 19 agonizing hours, they managed to free John from his rocky prison. However, their relief was short-lived as they realized that John's legs were badly injured and his condition was rapidly deteriorating. Even after putting in their best efforts to save him, John's condition continued to worsen. His breathing became shallow and irregular, and his movements grew weaker by the minute. The rescue team, realizing that time was running out, made the difficult decision to call for a medical profession to confirm John's condition. John survived an incredible 27 hours in an inverted position, defying all expectations. The 6 brave rescue personnel who reached John in his rocky prison displayed extraordinary heroism, willingly placing themselves in a perilous, unmapped section of the cave. And finally, when it became evident that recovering John's body would be impossible, he was left to rest in the depths of Nutty Putty Cave. His final resting place marked by a plaque commemorating his life. The entire cave system was permanently closed and sealed with concrete, ensuring that John's resting place would remain undisturbed for eternity. John's tragic passing left behind his wife, Emily, a young daughter and a baby boy on the way who would be named after him. The whole incident had a profound impact on the volunteer rescuers, many of whom were traumatized by the experience and have since refrained from entering caves. The attempt to use the pulley system resulted in further tragedy as one rescuer was badly injured when a pulley ripped free and struck him in the face. The person tragically passed away a few minutes before midnight on the day before Thanksgiving. The Nutty Putty Cave has remained closed ever since, with John's body unable to be extricated. The cave site has taken on the solemn significance of a grave. It stands as a memorial to John's memory and a witness to the risks involved in cave exploration. What do you think? Do drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and while you're at it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications to stay updated on our stories. See you in the next episode.